The basic Lakota star knowledge concept being reality begins within, as this is how the universe was created. And since everything begins within us, then that's where we should focus. And we do that by taking care of ourselves physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, because these four parts are connected to each other. They are the four parts of ourself, and they connect to each other deep inside of ourselves, and this is our sacred center. So when we live in this way, we get to know ourselves, because that's part of the process. And that includes coming to peace with past difficulties in your life so that they don't bother you anymore. So when you think about them, there's no emotional reaction. So coming to peace with it means facing it, dealing with it, and learning from it, making the most of it. And this way, they become teachers to you. So that gets all that energy, the junk, out of you and neutralized. So when you think about those experiences, they don't bother you anymore. They might even make you laugh and say, "Geez, I can't believe I did that," and which is okay. As you'll come to a point where you have no regrets, no grudges, no gripes. You're just at peace with it. That helps to keep you in the present moment, because this is the best place to be in learning from the difficulties that will come afterwards. Because that's part of life. That's part of nature for difficulties to be there. And when you live this way, you start to see that it's not a bad thing. It's just these are times when you have to learn, make the best of it. And from these experiences, you gain wisdom, knowledge, and your peace goes stronger. And that energy is in your communication as you communicate to others, and they feel it, and they feel good. And then when others communicate to you, you're able to deal with that communication in a healthy way, regardless of what it is. And when you live this way, you're living in peace and continuing to nurture this peace by learning from difficulties, which helps you to enjoy blessings when they do come. As I said, nature is this way. Sometimes really nice things happen out of the blue. Sometimes not so nice things happen out of the blue. Or sometimes these things happen because of what you did or what somebody else did, or they just happen. It doesn't matter where it comes from. What matters the most is how do you deal with them. You treat all difficulties the same. You learn from them, make the best of them. You treat all blessings the same. You enjoy them. Likewise, when you establish peace in your life by dealing with your past and coming to peace with it, that's going to help you remember lots of good times that happened that were blocked out before. And that's medicine. Those good memories are medicine. And you think through them, think about them, and you might even learn something from there, because you'll see something you didn't see before. Because you've changed, you've developed. As you develop, you change. So sometimes it's good to go back to something that already happened, or even something you've already learned, because you're different now. And when you look at the past events now, you're going to see things you didn't see before. They were always there, but you've developed. You've progressed. You're emotionally and spiritually developing, and this is helping you to see even more of reality. This is how that works. It's a very beautiful, beautiful concept. And this is how that works. This is how we live. This is how we learn. This is how we love. So all of that begins by going within you. There's a universe within you. So when you're living this way, you're settling things, you're maintaining peace in the universe inside of you. As you get to know more of this universe inside of you, you start to see more of reality, which means that the more you understand and comprehend about the universe inside of you, the more you understand and comprehend the universe around you, including way out there. That's how the flow works. So when I say Lakota star knowledge, I'm talking about To understand that, you have to go within you first. So Lakota star knowledge is not about looking out at the stars with the telescope. That's not the direction to go. Because when you do that, you don't have that foundation inside of you. You don't have that peace inside of you. Instead, you're trying to find it out there, and it's not going to work like that. It's only going to work when you go within you. And some people do this, and it's unbelievable the things they can comprehend out there. But first, it begins within you. First, it begins inside of you. So this is about living. It's about living, and there's no religion involved. There's no ceremonies or sacred items involved. It's just a way of life. Religion doesn't have to be there. Religion is something that man creates to control others, to keep them trapped in an emotion, to keep them so that they don't develop spiritually and they don't develop emotionally. And as a result, they don't see very much of reality because they can't comprehend it. I said earlier that part of living a healthy life is dealing with difficulties. When you deal with these difficulties, you express the emotions that came with them. And you let it go. You let that go. And the more you start learning from it and making the most of it, those emotions leave you. And they bring you peace and knowledge and wisdom. See, that's their purpose. But people who don't live this way, the emotions never leave. They're trapped in your body. And the only way to develop spiritually is for those emotions to go. That means when you learn from difficulties, as I said already, the emotions leave and they bring you peace. So, if you're trapped in an emotion, you don't have peace. So, religion and things like that, and racism, all these things, they're all developed by man, and they're all based on duality. Duality is looking at just a small percentage of reality and saying that's the good part, and anything else that they don't like, and then they say that's bad. So in duality, they label things. And then they say, hey, this is mine, and if you agree with me, then you're good and you're with me. If you don't, then you're evil, you're bad, you must be destroyed. I can prove you're stupid. Your culture has problems, and I'll tell you what's wrong. That's where we lead into things like ethnocentrism, which leads to racism. And then we have paternalism, where people say, I know what's right for you, just do what I say because I'm smarter than you, kind of thing. And then we have dogma, which is my way is the only way. And if you tried another way, you are evil. Of course, racism is racism. We all know what that is. These are four products of duality. What's behind it is to oppress others, to control others, to tell others what is right, to tell others what is reality. And that closes people off from themselves because they're focusing away from that sacred center. Lakota Star Knowledge teaches that there's at least 3 perspectives to everything. And it's not about which one is the good one. It's about what can I learn from them. Maybe there's one that I can enjoy. Maybe there's one that I'm just at peace with. Like I said, there's at least 3 perspectives to every situation. What dualistic people do is they look at the situation and they find the perspective they like, and they reject the rest of it and say that that's bad. So no matter how many perspectives a situation has, dualistic people only accept one perspective. So since Lakota Star Knowledge says that there's at least 3 perspectives to everything, that's each perspective equals 1/3. So what dualistic people do is they just accept one and throw the rest away and say it's bad. So what they're doing is they're rejecting 2/3 of the reality of that situation. every situation comes with emotions. So when they think they're processing something, 2/3 of that emotion is staying inside their bodies because they refuse to accept the reality of it. So that emotion becomes trapped inside their bodies. This is why they don't develop emotionally. And when you can't develop emotionally, you cannot develop spiritually. You become emotionally insecure, you develop inferiority complexes, you develop low self-esteem, low self-worth, and you're judgmental of everything you don't agree with. You have the tendency to put down things that you don't agree with or you don't like. And dualistic people even go so far as to create a fancy, complex system of beliefs to try to prove that they are right, and if you don't agree, that you are wrong, and you will go to a hell and burn in eternal damnation. But if you agree with him, then you'll be eternally happy. You see what I mean? Where it's always daytime. See, they're only focusing on one side. So that's duality, and it traps you, it enslaves you, it stops you from growing because it traps at least 2/3 of the emotional aspect of every experience in your life. That means all that emotional energy is trapped in your body, and that's going to make you sick if you don't deal with it. You'll become sick mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and even physically. Those are psychosomatic illnesses. It's really imperative to know what this is so you know how to make it work for you. It's important to learn to see dualism in any situation so that you can learn from it. But if you run away from it, then you're being dualistic too because you're saying it's bad. And so we don't call dualism bad. We're going to treat it like a difficulty. We're going to learn from it. So when you live this way, so you're really living a healthy way when you're taking care of the 4 parts of yourself and communicating in a healthy way and nurturing the peace inside of you by learning from difficulties and enjoying blessings. It's good to do this because love includes all emotions. It includes all emotions, and these are just part of the experience. We're not meant to live in the emotion because emotions, they can bring us peace, they can bless us. But we have to learn from the difficulties that come with that and also enjoy the blessings that come with them. So it's not about being good or bad, it's about living and communicating. Communicating is how we say things, how we do things, how we comprehend things, how we listen, how we accept information when we touch something or taste something or read something or hear something. See, it goes both ways. So that's communication. And when we do that in a healthy way, because we're healthy inside, by living this way, then we are influencing others. They feel our energy. So no matter what people say to us, we know how to deal with it in a healthy way. We know how to filter it and respond in a healthy way. If it's dualistic, we know how to neutralize it so it doesn't hurt anybody else. And then we shake it off. If it's healthy, we pass it on. So that's how that works. And when you have this kind of universe inside of you, living in a healthy way and taking care of yourself, you're keeping a contact with that sacred center. Now, when you were born, a part of Grandmother Earth went inside of your body. This is where your sacred center is located. So when you're taking care of yourself, living this way, belonging to no religion, but living in a healthy way, you are having an open contact with the earth. That's a beautiful thing. And our Lakota Star Knowledge stories tell us that when people came on the earth, there was only one continent. And this is the way they lived until they started separating and living in various parts of this one giant continent, they started to develop skin colors because of the different ecosystems they lived in and their distance from the sun. This is what creates skin colors and hair textures and eye colors. The human bodies were adapting so that they could live in that region. And so later on, as they encounter each other again, they see each other differently now because they're starting to focus on the outside appearance. This is where duality comes in. Duality is a tool that we can learn from it so that we make it work for us. We either add something to it or adjust it or whatever, and we make it work for us. It can be a learning experience. You see what I mean? That's why I said earlier, we treat duality like a difficulty. So when you meet somebody, the challenge is to remember to maintain your sacred center so that when you meet others, you take the time to know them and see if they communicate from their sacred center too. And in this way, you maintain your peace and they maintain theirs too. And you do this because you already done this to yourself. Remember I said earlier, you take the time to know yourself, to establish that peace inside of you by learning from your difficulties and enjoying your blessings. So when you do that, you're going to find people who do that too. And this is going to build the next star knowledge concept of like attracts like. How you are is what you will attract. Whether it's a friend or your partner, your romantic partner, you will attract similar people naturally. Likewise, unhealthy people attract unhealthy people too. Like attracts like. That doesn't mean you're going to attract somebody who's exactly like you. No, you're going to attract somebody who's also living a healthy life, and that person also knows that through difficulties you learn and you gain wisdom and knowledge and peace. They know that too. That's how you build a healthy relationship. So you don't find somebody to complete you. That's what unhealthy people do. They're always looking for something out there, outside of them, to make them feel right. That's dualistic thinking. And that's why they create religions and look for others to make them happy. When really it's you go inside of yourself. You have to go there first. So you will find a healthy partner. So it's not about looking for somebody to complete you. It's about completing yourself first and then finding somebody who is also this way. That way, for healthy people, when you enter a relationship, you are creating something new. You maintain your individual identity, and your relationship becomes an extension of that. The relationship is an extension of both of your identities. So what happens to you happens to the relationship too. So difficulties may come to the relationship, and healthy people know that these difficulties can result in both partners increasing their love for each other. Do you see what I mean? It's a beautiful thing. So, if you want a healthy partner, you got to be healthy first. You see how this works? This is the Lakota Star Knowledge way of living. It all starts within you. It all starts inside of you. This is the foundation.
To read more about Lakota Star Knowledge spirituality, you can read my book called Wichocha Otechike. You can see the book cover on the right side of this screen. This book contains the information to what I talk about on my Lakota spirituality videos. To purchase this book, please click below where it says Show More. Clicking on that link will open up the description below, and there you will see a link called To Purchase My Books. As you will see, it's an eBay link. Click on that eBay link, and there you will see the information to get this book. Lila Pila Mayelo. Thank you very much.